All right, so we have a customer who's not happy. He bought a vehicle, and long story short, a couple of months later, he started having issues with the vehicle, and then wanted to blame the fact that the car didn't have the right engine, and then started finding certain disclosures that were not mentioned in the bill of sale. Now that's a problem. If you have disclosures, if you're a dealer and you sell a car and you forget to tell the customer that it was a rental, if you forget to tell them that it was a previous accident vehicle, if you forget to tell them that it had previous US history, the customer actually has a right to return the vehicle by law. However, there's certain matters that are in the gray area where it's not so big that they have the right to return, but they have the right to some compensation. So this customer here had the right to some compensation. Why? Because we made a paperwork mistake on one of the documents. We misrepresented the mileage by, I think it was 3,000 kilometers, which is a huge difference on one of the documents. So the warranty paper had it correct, the bill of sale had it correct, but like one of, I think it was a bank contract had it miscorrected. But long story short, he used that as leverage to ask for compensation or to make an official complaint with the regulatory body. So here's the document now saying that, okay, we're gonna give him an agreed upon price, which was a pretty large amount in my opinion, but whatever, it's worth getting rid of the headache. And we're making this payment, and then we get him to sign a document that our regulatory body in our province or state witnesses, and they say, yeah, okay, as long as you do this, he can no longer complain about this misrepresentation of the vehicle. Happens in dealership worlds. A lot of times it happens with accident disclosures with other dealers and people who still a lot of like salvage vehicles, or they didn't know the history of the vehicle. In this case, it rarely ever happens with our dealership, but it did happen. And here's the document. And that document is really important. You know, if you end up just sending out the money to the customer saying, oh, well, yeah, he told me he's not going to complain as long as they give him some money. And you send him that money, $500, $1,000, whatever it is. And then they just change the story on you and they continue to complain. You've got nothing on them. You've got nothing to really go back and say, no, they said they're not going to complain anymore, right? They'll just continue complaining, holding you hostage. So it's important to get a document signed that says, we release your dealership from liability from this complaint that we had or any other thing with this vehicle in this transaction. This deal was almost a year ago. Just an interesting situation, but keep that in mind. Obviously, play it safe when you're going to do it, and know that in the dealership world, things like this do happen. AutoCorp is essentially where all of our finance leads go to. So if somebody goes to our website and fills in the finance application, first name, last name, and then they submit the information, it comes into AutoCorp in the back end here. So there's Momo Cars Canada, there's Momo Cars USA, there's Ontario Auto Approvals, so Momo Cars Canada. Today we got a lead, 10 o'clock morning. Kia Sorento, do we have it outside? No, that's a trade-in. So the guy wants to trade in. No one's called this lead. You need a login. Feel free to bring deals to buy. If you line up deals, there's no problem. Especially if you think you can wholesale flip them right away, because that's what you actually want to buy, right? Your role could be transforming, it could be ending, it could be anything, at least the admin part of it.
Your role would technically go from what you're doing right now to just coordinating that with Naz. So she would get everything in the software, all the files come there, you're just printing it, organizing it, filing it away. That's it.
So one more thing that's happening is Naz and Jason, so these are digital dealers. These guys are selling cars digitally. So the lead that you just pass under, she's gonna get that person qualified, get him approved for financing, figure out what car he wants. If you don't have that car here, she's gonna find that car somewhere else, get him to commit to that car, sign all the documents, put a deposit on that car, and then tell us, hey, can you get somebody to go pick up that vehicle, get it ready for sale, transfer it to the customer's name, get the safety done. If it doesn't have a safety, deliver it to the customer's house. That part would be your role. As in up from the picking up the vehicle to double checking it upon pickup, not sourcing the vehicle, not the payments, and then getting it to the customer's house. Until now, our students have done that for themselves. We never provided that as a service. But right now we have two people who want us to do that as a service, and they're willing to pay obviously for it. So for us, we're gonna test it out. If it makes sense, then we'll have a lot of people saying, okay, we can coordinate your pickups and deliveries. That role could get busy fast because how many deals they're doing, you're doing that plus writing the lot cards that we have. So that's what's happening with your role and the admin role and the purchasing role. Like I said, the purchasing one, I'll just leave it to you. You find deals, you got time, do it. Let's make some money. You don't find deals, no problem. New York, from Texas, from Atlanta, Georgia, or wherever you are, if you want to start buying cars from Canada, a new market where only some American dealerships have tapped into, then reach out to me and my university, Car Dealership University, so we can help you get your dealership license in Canada, help you understand the tax laws and how you can avoid paying the HST, the 13% rebate that Canadian car dealers pay when we wholesale vehicles, which is not true in America. Now, there are obviously different laws and regulations. There's different car auctions in Canada. And of course, the landscape here varies dramatically based on different provinces and different cities in terms of what vehicle conditions look like. So if you're an American dealer and you want to break into the Canadian space, to have a secret source of inventory, to have a big advantage on buying pickup trucks and other North American made vehicles for a discount, Car Dealership University can help you get set up and understand the Canadian market, as we have done, not just for ourselves, but many other dealers. Reach out to us. I look forward to having a conversation with you. If you're a finance manager at a car dealership or you work in finance, I've got a huge opportunity for you. If you ever wanted to go off into business on your own, this is one of the best times in history to do such a thing. Finance managers who have sales experience and who have a wealth of experience with different banks are best set up for the next wave of trends in the car dealership industry, which is remote car selling. Remote car selling is primarily for people who finance. And so if you don't have the finance knowledge or the history or the background, the understanding of how all the banks and the documents and approvals and the booking values all work, then you'd be at a huge disadvantage. Some of you already know what I'm talking about because in your F&I office, you're already buying leads, you're already selling cars remotely to people who've never seen them, including sourcing inventory. I've built a model, it's called the digital dealership model. And I want to tell you all about it and see if it's a good fit for you and if it's a time for you to go off on your own. Make an appointment with me and let me show you how you can finally go off in the world of Car Dealership University entrepreneurship program of becoming a digital dealer. I look forward to talking to you. If you're an investor and you want to buy cars but not have overhead and not have to get your own dealership license, then listen to this. Our dealership in New York and in Canada, which has been established for more than 17 years, takes investors and teaches them not just the car business, but also lets them profit off their investment at our dealership without having any risk or overhead for them. What am I talking about? So at our dealership here, you can come and give us $100,000, $50,000, or $200,000. And the first thing that happens is it gets approved by the government for investment. They're going to do background checks on you, your source of your funds will be checked. And once that investment is approved, then our dealership will use that to source vehicles, primarily Teslas and pickup trucks for export. And once we do that, your funds will then be making you money and you can pull that money out whenever you like. If you want to have a conversation about how this works. Now, it doesn't mean you get our mentorship and our support. However, you can buy into our mentorship and support if you need and if you want after the course. The course will teach you things like how do you get your dealer license? How do you export vehicles to different countries? What cars are being exported? What are the margins? What is the process of getting banks at your dealership? How much profit is there in financing vehicles to other people? What are some of the most common mistakes people make when trying to get their dealership license? Where is the money and the latest opportunities in the automotive world? We've identified over 8 different opportunities that are the most trending opportunities in the automotive business today in both America and Canada. 99 videos of Car Dealership University's teachings. In this course, you will learn how do you export vehicles if you're an American or a Canadian dealer? What are the opportunities to send cars to Dubai? You're also going to learn what the rules and regulations, what the shipping companies, what is the average cost? How do you get your taxes back? How do taxes work in different countries? What cars are in demand? What cars should you never send? And how the entire export process works. Whether you're an existing car dealer, an existing wholesaler, a mechanic shop, or whether you just want to get into the world of exporting. Or maybe you want to import vehicles from Dubai. Maybe you're living in Dubai or you want to move to Dubai and start importing cars from the West. A huge opportunity. We go through everything and a lot more in this video course, taught for the first time in a digital course. After having taught this for 3 years to physical dealers and investors and wholesalers, we've now packaged it all for you in this digital course for an insanely low price, almost $15,000 lower than our actual program. Get access to it and enjoy the video course taught by me.